we're just gonna hit record on this one. Hey, what is up, guys? It's your boy Brandon again, ready to drop another review for this YouTube channel. So like, comment, and subscribe down below if you guys have the chance. And while you're at it, hit that notification bell so you can get updates when I post new videos every week, sometimes. Unless it's a long week, then I really don't have time to squeeze that in. So today we're gonna be talking about a really old movie that came out in like, I don't know, like the 80s or something, like before I was born, so like really it didn't matter. But anyways, they remade it into the cool era, which is today, and it's called Child's Play. Interestingly enough, it's not technically a reboot or a remake, and this other guy said it's kind of like a cover, like when you hear like a really cool acoustic cover of, I don't know, like the best band in the world, Coldplay, and it's kind of like that. It's like a cover of a song, but like done way better. So guys, yeah, I'm about to get into this, so like I said, like, comment, and subscribe down below, and if you guys are interested in my merch, let me know, and I'll start making merch. So that's what's up. Let's get into this. Sell Out Boys. That should be the name of my band. Shit. Man, I got so deep in that character I almost forgot what I was doing here. Anyways, guys, for my last review, Dark Phoenix, apparently everyone prefers me when I'm drunk, which is awful. So if you guys were interested in seeing a drunk version of me today, that is not what's gonna happen. Today is gonna be completely sober. So let's just get that out of the way. I'm sorry if you guys don't like this version of me, but this is the version of me that I want to put out for my audience. The version of me that I feel like will earn the hearts of people without the use of any substances. So just don't pressure me, guys. Like, seriously, like I want to be a good person, and you know, I really feel like this year is going to be a whole new version of me that does not fall into peer pressure. And I know what this sounds like. This is like going to be some long build up, and all of a sudden I'm going to grab a bottle of beer outside of the frame and then bring it into frame, and then I'm going to start drinking it, and then I'm going to start reviewing this movie. And I'm not going to do that, guys. That is not the kind of person I want to be. That is not the kind of version of me that I want to sell to audiences. But I am very thirsty, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this nice bottle of confidence juice and I'm going to just down it. And I know what you're thinking, right? Like, Brandon, you just said you weren't going to do that, but here's the thing, I'm doing it. So I'm pretty sure my camera just cut off just now, but let's get back into this, guys. Let's do this. You know, it's like 2 in the afternoon. But I'm doing this because apparently my friends prefer me under the influence of things, which I don't know what I'm going to say about that, but let's just say hypothetically that, you know, I'm just a better person to hang out with when I'm drunk. Let's just pretend in this world that I created that I am a better person when I'm drunk. What does that say about me? Okay? Like, I'm just stone cold, like, boring? Wow. This is news to me. Me boring. Me, the least boring guy I know. Me, boring. Wow. Wow. Me, Brandon, boring. Anyways, guys, let's get into this review. As you're noticing, I'm wearing headphones right now, and it's because I need to constantly be in check of the audio quality through this, because GarageBand sometimes like to not record while I'm recording, and so I got to keep track of it, and I got to make sure it's still getting my voice through this for you guys, for easy breezy listening. Oh yeah, ASMR. All right. Like I said, let's get back into it. I'm getting very distracted. I've had about 3 of those. So today we're talking about Lars Klevberg's version of Chucky. Fuck! Today we are talking about Lars oh my god, damn it. Today we're talking shit about the internet. Let's get into it. We're talking about Lars's version of Child's Play. let's get into it. Child's Play stars Aubrey Plaza, Gabriel Bateman, Mark Hamill as the voice of Chucky, and Brian Tyree Henry. I wanted to talk about the striking differences between this movie and the original. So recently, my girlfriend, who is a big fan of horror films and the horror genre in general, she's got me on board for a lot of these movies that I was too scared to watch when I was a little kid, because my grandma used to watch a bunch of horror movies and always had them stocked up in this big case with a bunch of other VHSs. And every time I wanted to put in Disney's Hercules or any other Disney movie in there, I had to look past all the horror films that she had in line, like Hellraiser and Friday the 13th and all these other movies that were in her lineup. So it was a very strange experience, and I was just always scared of Chucky's face on the cover. It just frightened me. And I always remember seeing and hearing bits and pieces of Chucky in my life as I grew up, and I had this irrational fear of dolls, and I still do a little bit, but it's just been ingrained in my childhood forever without ever really truly seeing it. And so watching the original, I realized how hilarious the original is. It's just so goddamn funny. Chucky is played by Brad Dourif, who, if you don't know him, he's Wormtongue in the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
I said talk to me, damn it, or else I'm gonna throw you in the fire!
You stupid bitch, you filthy slut! Did you fuck with me?
And man, I didn't know he had other work outside of Lord of the Rings, and I didn't know he played such an iconic character. And the way that he makes Chucky in the original, it's just so entertaining to watch, and I think he's probably the best parts of the film, because unlike this movie, the remake, or the cover or whatever I just did a whole spiel on, this movie gets into the character of Chucky from a different angle and doesn't really characterize him as much as the original movie does. And I think that's the striking difference between this movie and the other, is that it kind of flip-flops on who the focus is on. The focus in this 2019 movie is on the characters rather than Chucky himself. Even though Chucky is brought into this world of violence upon being influenced by what's on TV and what children are entertained by, the other movie, it's literally just a psychopath who has put his spirit inside the body of a doll. And it's just way different, because this movie focuses on tech and AI, and it feels like a Black Mirror episode that's just cracked out. It's really entertaining to watch for very different reasons. So if you're going in with this, going into this movie thinking that it's going to be anyway similar to the original, you're wrong. This movie takes a very different approach, which I really appreciated. So my viewing of this movie was watching this version first, and then watching the original 1980s film, and then also watching Bride of Chucky, which I literally just watched yesterday. I actually watched the original. Who the fuck cares? And oh my god, how do people function like this? I just feel so bloated and uncomfortable. I just feel so bloated and uncomfortable, and I just can't fit in the same clothes that I used to, and it's just, you don't get it, Kyle. You don't fucking get it. Stupid. Moving on from that. This movie takes a very different direction in giving the characters a lot more depth, and actually makes them smarter than they are in the 1980s films and all the ongoing films after that, because I believe that in the original Chucky series of movies, the characters that are in it, the human characters, are given little to no personality or character, and if they are, they choose very dumb decisions to make throughout the movie that you're like constantly screaming at the TV. At least I was, and I was like, why the hell would you choose that option? Why are you doing this? Why is the detective being an idiot? Why is the mom not being rational and just throwing his ass in the fire immediately? Like, all of these things were kind of going through my head, and I was just like, man, I just can't like these human characters. The only thing I liked about, the original Child's Play was Chucky. And I think that this movie takes a different approach by making these characters a lot more interesting and giving them humor and giving them a personality, and they actually make the right decisions when they're supposed to. And then Chucky, not that he's less interesting and not that he's voiced amazingly by Mark Hamill, who I love everything that he does, but this movie makes an approach of making him more sympathetic and making Chucky someone that you kind of feel bad that he's going to the dark side. But then there's some different things that are pulling in based on how the storytelling is told, is that Chucky is programmed to let off all of these inhibitors that keep him safeguarded from the outside world, from being influenced from these things, because, well, I guess moral of the story is treat your employees right. throughout this version of Child's Play, Chucky is treated as a home assistance doll that can basically serve as different functions. He can turn off your lights, he can turn on your car, he can do all these other things that are connected through all of your devices. And so in this world, it's treated as kind of a joke. Even the mom and the son agree that they got this doll kind of as a joke for them to bond over Andy's birthday. And so they start using it in the house, and slowly you grow to be sympathetic with Chucky, because it's not necessarily because Chucky is inherently evil, but it's because of the malfunctioning chip inside of him that opens up the possibilities for him to be inhibited by anything that is kind of a bad influence. So throughout this movie, he's watching, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, he's watching all these violent horror films, and he's taking that and he's integrating it into his memory and using that to kind of please Andy. And so when he sees violence and when he sees Andy watching this movie and he's being entertained by it, he says, well, I should do that too because Andy likes that. So at the very beginning of this movie, when they do an introduction of what the buddy doll is, so these dolls, they can imprint on whoever the owner is. And so that is why Andy and Chucky are so connected throughout this movie. And it's nice to see that in this movie they take a very fun direction in that they actually build a friendship. They build this kinship because Andy, whose father passed away, is being replaced by this asshole whose name's Shane. I don't know why I laughed at that name. It's just funny because Shane seems to be the go-to asshole guy name or asshole boyfriend name in a lot of shows. So yeah, Shane. So moving forward, Chucky takes those influences and then he sees that the hardships in Andy's life he can fix by eliminating those things that are getting in the way between their relationship. And so you have Child's Play. And I really enjoyed the hell out of this movie. I thought it was really entertaining from the very beginning up to the end. I thought a lot of the characters were very charismatic. I thought the guy who played Andy, Gabriel Bateman, was excellent in this movie, and I like how they aged him up a little bit and gave him a little bit of an edge, in that he can actually talk back and he can actually form sentences, unlike the original Andy. And it was really fun to see Aubrey Plaza take a very new direction and become a mom and kind of get into that character, because you're so used to seeing her as April Ludgate. So I really enjoyed it, and some of the gripes I would take from the movie are some of the side characters, Stranger Kids 2.0 kids, and the asshole boyfriend who was just so aggressively an asshole. And I get he was there because not really a spoiler, but he's one of the kills in the movie, and it's supposed to be satisfying when you see him go away. But throughout the movie, he was just so aggressively a douche that I was just like, I don't know if I want to buy into this character, but I can admit it was satisfying to see him go. But every time Andy comes into the apartment, he would just do this, just the douchiest, just zip up his pants, make it so obvious that he just his mom, and it's just the most blatant. I don't know, something about that rubbed me off the wrong way. Not rubbed me off the wrong way, why do I keep saying that? Rubbed me the wrong way. So yeah, little things like that, those are the things that bugged me. But the movie had really good pacing throughout, and I like some of the kills and some of the scares in the movie. This movie isn't necessarily scary, it's not heavy on the horror aspects, it's more of a dark comedy than anything else, and I think it really ties into a lot of what Chucky was in the original series. And so going into this fresh and kind of being surprised by what the Child's Play franchise has been, this movie was a really cool addition and a really cool take on the character, and I enjoyed the hell out of it, and I would give it an 8 out of 10 for sure. I think Lars Klevberg took some inspiration from a lot of the movies like Krampus and Trick or Treat, where it takes that comedy route and with a lot of the kills and with a lot of the horror, inventing new ways to do it that doesn't seem stale and dry, and it adds a family element to it. And I don't know, I just felt like there was a lot of inspiration from those series of movies that's directed by, oh my god, I always forget his name. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you should go out and see this movie. If you are a fan of the original Child's Play movies, then you're gonna get a lot out of this, because it does do a different take. And I know that they didn't contact Brad Dourif for basically producing this movie, and he's the original voice actor, and a lot of the screenwriters from the original series were not carried over for this movie, from what I know.
So they're rebooting that. They asked David Kirshner and I if we wanted to be executive producers. We said no thank you, because we have our ongoing thriving business with Chucky.
And so you can continue doing that without the involvement of MGM.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And so they're making this without your involvement.
Right. I don't think that, they didn't. Obviously, my feelings were hurt. That I had just done 2 movies.
Who knows? I might be wrong. But from my knowledge, they weren't brought over, and I know that they've been dedicated to the original series for a while. They have the same writer and the same voice actor. So a lot of those things didn't carry over, and I get how some of the diehard fans might be a little troubled by that. But I would just say go watch this movie and form your own opinion, and remove those little bits and pieces of outsider information and just form your own damn opinion. It's a movie. So yeah, guys, besides some of the minor little defects of the movie, I got a lot of enjoyment out of it. I'm not a horror buff. It's not a movie that I'm going to constantly pop in, maybe during Halloween, but I think you guys will form a lot of fun out of it. Shush, phone. And I think you guys are going to have a wild, wicked time. So guys, thanks again for watching my review. I was repeating myself a lot of the time, but it's because I forgot what I said in the previous sentence, because that is what alcohol does. And this has actually been a PSA for alcohol. Don't do it. Don't ever do it. Stay away from it. And if you get it, you'll die. So, thank you guys for joining me, and I will see you sometime. That's definitely how I always do my outros. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's how my girlfriend's mom sounds. That's funny. That's funny to only me.